Heading south from Ely along Highway 50, you will come to this sign, which is the first way to reach the Ovens. This road is very washboardy and rough. It is better to continue on Highway 50 for 8 miles until you come to this sign. This leads to a 5-mile long road, which is much smoother and more easy to navigate than the other. From the intersection of the two roads, it's only 1.5 miles further to the parking lot at the Charcoal Ovens. So coming up, this road to the left is the alternative route, which is only 5 miles back to the highway. And I will try that going back so that I don't have to spend an hour and a half going 15 miles. May as well reduce that by going 5 miles. So it looks like that'll get you back to the freeway. So if that's the road, then the Ovens are again just where that peak is, because there is a campground we should come to first, and then after the campgrounds, the Ovens. So I've been on this road since about 9:30, and now it's almost 10:30. So indeed, max speed is about 15 miles an hour on a 15-mile stretch. Oh, here's another road leading probably the same way. Let's see what this says. Yeah, see, that's 5 miles where it says Highway 650. That would have been much better. I'll check that road out and let you know. The Ovens are 1.5 miles, which should put us near that peak. Okay, the campground is apparently up that way. And I can see some little shelters up this road. And then the Ovens are this way. The Ward Charcoal Ovens parking lot. There's a car coming up the dirt road there. There's a picnic area over there, a restroom there, parking lot, and the state sign. And as you come in, you'll come to the fee station. If you have a Nevada annual pass, you're safe. Otherwise, there is a token amount that they want you to pay here, which is for basic upkeep, keep the toilets up. So from my understanding, they needed charcoal to assist with running the mines in order to get a high temperature. So they built these things to burn the wood and turn it into charcoal for smelting. $30 to $50 bushels to reduce 1 ton of ore. So it only ran for 3 years. They put all these together for 3 years. Oh, that's how they stacked the wood in, I thought. They dumped it in the window in the back. One oven, 6 acres of trees. 6 ovens, 36 acres. That's why there are not too many trees left around here. They probably had trees all over this area, like the ones that are still remaining, and they chopped them all down. So this is the charcoal oven. This is a brief discussion of how an oven like those at the state park work. If possible, the kilns were placed adjacent to a hill to facilitate loading wood to the top of the structure. The ground was leveled, and brick masons shaped the stones from nearby hills of granite or volcanic tuff. Such outcroppings of stones are still present in the nearby hills. A mixture of lime and ashes was used for mortar. As the walls got higher, internal scaffolding was used to reach the dome. Iron doors were then attached to the opening at the ground level, as well as at the loading window, which was positioned about 2/3 of the way to the top. An iron cover was also used to seal the opening at the top when it was time to put out the fire and allow the charring process to continue. The walls varied in thickness, being thicker at the base when compared to the top, but overall averaging 20 inches. 3 circular rings of rectangular openings were spaced about 18 inches apart, and the openings were approximately 3 to 5 inches in size and 3 feet apart. These were used to control the burning process by regulating airflow. For the best performance, the diameter of the structure at the base was roughly equal to its height. In the case of the Ward ovens, the base is 27 feet in diameter and the height is 30 feet. That parabolic shape of the oven was important for concentrating the heat at the top of the oven, where the larger logs were placed. This tended to even out the charring process so that a consistent product was achieved. The kilns required a considerable amount of wood to make the charcoal. At the Ward ovens, 35 cords of wood were required for each complete burning. This meant that 6 acres of forested land had to be consumed. This is the reason that you do not see many trees on the slopes of the surrounding hills. Those trees that you do see have grown due to natural reforestation after the mines had closed. 50 bushels of charcoal could be produced from each cord of wood. And remember, a cord of wood is a tight stack of wood, 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 8 feet long, yielding a total of 1,750 bushels per burn. Each burn took 12 days, 1 to 2 days of which were simply for cooling the contents. To process 1 ton of ore at the smelter, 30 to 50 bushels of charcoal were required. The first layer of wood was laid out in a radial fashion like the spokes of a wheel. The center portion was left open to create a chimney-like flume leading to the top of the oven. Next, the cords of wood were tightly stacked in a horizontal fashion, with the smaller pieces of wood at the bottom and the larger logs at the top. When it was no longer possible to stack the wood from the door at ground level, the remainder of the oven was filled from the window at the higher elevation. In addition to the chimney space, some space was reserved around the opening of the lower door to facilitate starting the fire. The central opening and that around the lower door were filled with kindling. The fire was started at the lower door and allowed to move upwards. If there was trouble with the fire making it up to the top of the oven, a fire was started from the opening at the top. Once the fire had established itself and an acrid blue smoke was seen coming from the top of the dome, the iron doors were shut and the top opening sealed. The 10-day burn began. When the charcoal had cooled sufficiently to be removed, it was shoveled into 1 bushel sacks and sent to the mines. Each sack weighed approximately 17 pounds. The kilns were maintained by a group of men which some people called carbonari, which implied an association with the Italians, who often were the ones who made and maintained the ovens. However, a better term for the men who were assigned to this task is a collier. This was a brief review of how these ovens worked. And mind you, when I use the term burn, it's not an open fire. The whole thing about making charcoal is that you are heating the wood in an oxygen-poor environment. That's why all the openings are shut. The little rectangular openings at the base are simply to regulate the fire by allowing or not allowing airflow. Let's take a look inside and see what we can see. There's that door in the back, which led to a platform where they would throw the wood in and then stack it. And there's the opening at the top to let the smoke out. These are something. Nice shelter. With these walls, I'm sure this would be nice shelter in the summertime as well. Let's see there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. This video is for Jennifer, who made me come up here. Jennifer W. This is part of the Nevada Division of State Parks. These trees that you see here are mostly mountain juniper or Utah juniper, and of course the ever-present, let's see, rubber rabbit brush or horse brush, depending on who you read. And if you go up this way, you will take the Willow Creek Trail. So it looks like the trail, we're here at the end, and you go up there and around and back out there. Let's see, 1/2 mile. That's all. And then there's some pinyon pine mixed in as well. Beautiful sights. So there's something majestic about these 6 ovens. It's hard to explain. But look, you're out in the middle of nowhere. Now from this angle you can see all of the openings where they shoved the logs into the ovens. Apparently there were little bridge-like structures leading from this hill where we are to the opening. Now I'm not making these trails, they're already here. Those buildings down there are the some type of tourist attraction with a general store, pawn shop, and gift shop. Some people are only staying for like 5 minutes. That's a long way up that dirt road to just hang around for 5 minutes. I've been seeing this for a long time, especially on the show Outdoor Nevada with Jim Burke. But they didn't tell you about the road to get up here. He just pulled up in his Range Rover SUV, popped out and met with the ranger. I don't think this is ever too crowded. So it's actually nice to just come and enjoy the place. So if you're up this way near Ely, Nevada, or the Great Basin National Park, and you want to take a break, come by and visit with the charcoal ovens. If you have a camper, there's a campground right over there along that tree line. This is supposed to lead back to the highway. I can't even see any highway from here.